When she kisses him, he remembers. It's as if his past lives come flooding back to him, much like when we remember who we are by knowing all is love. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of TrueLove Talks. Today I want to talk kind of a little bit all over the map, but starting with dreams and how we can pull our dreams into our reality, but also understanding the power of the mind, how the mind works, and that it is a transmitter and receiver of information, and you have to be in the receptive mode in order to receive information. And looking for confirmation of other people having the same experiences as we do. This world is a dream, and so if we can control our dreams like a lucid dream, we should be able to control this reality like a lucid dream. And when you think about how delta is a brainwave frequency, that it's a state of being, and delta is the state we're supposed to be in order to reach heart consciousness. It's the key that opens the door. So when you enter delta in your mind, you are in a meditative state, meditation and dream state. So if this is the state we're supposed to be in, and this is the state where you can control your dreams, because you can have lucid dreams, then perhaps we translate that into this world and make this world easier to make into what we want to make it into. Lately, I don't know about you, but lately my dreams have been a little bit stranger than normal. For the most part, my dreams are very linear, I guess. They have a cohesive story. They tend to move from one location to another fairly smoothly, making sense, consistent, flows well, and it's kind of story-like. I find myself lately looking at certain details in my dreams and seeing myself examining the details, and yet at the same time, I'm not aware in the dream that I'm dreaming. It's almost as if I'm aware of being the observer in the dream. So when you're in a dream, you see everything as you do in real life from your perspective. So you don't see yourself. But I'm observing and participating in the actions of the dream as the character of myself in this dream. But while that's happening, I'm observing and paying particular attention to how realistic the details are, which is very odd. Almost as if it's like there's two me's or something. And it's something you can do in your waking life as well, obviously, because you are always able to speak to somebody and consciously think and observe while you're speaking. So it's that sort of level of awareness. I don't think I ever actually thought of it in terms of having that awareness in my dreams until now. I do different kinds of meditation. I will meditate where I don't have any thought. The majority of my meditative sessions now are more like connecting with my guides, you could call it, and keeping that dialogue, that conversation going. And this is where I tap into what you would call the Akashic Record. So I'll get insights and information and guidance and pretty much anything this way. What I've noticed by doing this is the more time that you spend meditating or communicating with your guides through meditation, and when you meditate like this, you will often fall into a dream state. So you can do past life regression or lucid dreaming. You can visualize, you can see your past life through this meditative state. So you're not really asleep, but you're not awake. What I have noticed by practicing this more and more is how this is manifesting in the physical, because our consciousness has to change, it has to shift. The more time we spend in that delta state, the more we bring that frequency into the physical, and the more we're able to see the codes as a result, because we're connecting with that energy, and that energy is on the other side, I guess is the best way to explain it. Like I've been saying in some of my videos, and some of you have been saying, is the more you're connecting with the other side, the more you see these messages through synchronicities, through the television talking to you, signs and symbols and that sort of thing, reading the codes, the more the universe enjoys talking to you. The more the universe realizes, hey, they can hear me. I mean, imagine going through centuries or decades or years without talking to your loved one, and you can see them and you can say something to them, but they can't hear you and they can't see you. And then all of a sudden they can hear you and they can see you. How excited you would be to want to keep talking to them. Well, this is what I feel when I start to see the codes and the signs and the symbols and the synchronicities and feel that connection with, I guess you call the other side. Pretty sure I talked about past life in one of my previous videos, and how in some cases it was very clear, in other cases it was not so clear. It's like being able to receive a frequency. So, when you're in a car and you are trying to tune into a radio station, but you're out of range, so the closer you get to it, the stronger the signal, so you can tune into that station. That's what it's like. It's like not being able to see it or receive the frequency yet because it's out of range. And so if you're not ready to receive it, you're out of range. There's a lot of information that, as you well know, when you're going through the truth, that shatters you. The way things are is perfectly structured here so that your mind protects you. The ego both protects you and blocks you from truth, because we've forgotten, we've fallen in consciousness. For those of you who do not know what ego consciousness is, it is the fallen consciousness from Christ consciousness. It is a forgetting of who we are. It is connected to the ego of separateness, in the sense that you feel that you are separate from everything else. And the extreme form of that is narcissism. The way I interpret this, and I could be wrong in my interpretation, but Christ consciousness is the green, is the middle. So, but it did fall. We fell out of Christ consciousness. However, on the duality spectrum of the red versus the blue, the fallen consciousness is the ego consciousness. So there's a duality there. But there's also a splitting. There's the Christ consciousness, which is in the middle, which is the green mind, the heart mind. But then there's also the red versus blue polarity. So there's a bit of a trinity there. The fallen consciousness, the ego consciousness, which the extreme form is narcissism. And then you have the perceived good side, which would be the puritanical, or serving God, or serving some sort of external being of service to others, being totally selfless. Both are extreme forms of the same thing, and they represent the polarities of the good versus evil. So the narcissistic side of complete selfishness is seen as the evil side, and the other side, which is complete selflessness, is just as bad, because you get taken advantage of and you do not tend to your own needs. In the middle is Christ consciousness, which has also fallen and been buried. And that's what we have to get back to. And this is also why the narcissistic mind is coming to light right now. They're tearing down the narcissistic mind. And in doing so, they're also exposing the other side of it, of the people who are abused by narcissists and why that happens. That's another topic. When coming through the truth, there's a progression of information that you receive. And if you're not ready, you won't receive it, because you can't possibly receive all of it at once. It would kill you. It's psychologically painful because it has to break you. You have to go through the heartbreak to break the ego consciousness, in realizing that everything here is fake, that everything here is a lie. Even if you think consciously that you are ready for it, Source knows better. Your structure, your constitution, your makeup, your frequency, your energy is such that if you're not ready to receive certain information, you won't receive it. It won't be given to you. You will only receive what you are ready for. it can be shown to you point blank and you won't see it. You will reject it. You won't come across that information. It won't enter your frequency because it's not who you are at that moment. You're not in that zone. This is why, you're not in range of receiving that radio station. There isn't anything for you to actually actively do to make yourself ready. There's certain pieces of the puzzle you have to obtain before you can even process certain other pieces of information. If, for example, you haven't gone through flat Earth yet and you don't understand the significance of it, it hasn't shattered you yet, then there are certain pieces of the puzzle that you won't be able to fit or receive because you don't have that piece solidified yet. There's even cognitive blocks for people who have accepted the fact that this is not the world they thought it was, and they've asked for the truth and they think that they're ready to receive everything. But this universe knows better than to bombard you with information that might hurt you beyond your capabilities. So it will only give you what you can handle. So then in terms of the process of awakening, there's been times where I've been impatient and I've said, I'm ready, just send it to me, just give it to me, I want to hear it, I want to know it, but it's not coming. And part of that as well is not being in a receptive mode. If you're pushing too hard, that's a masculine assertive energy, so you can't be simultaneously pushing if you're trying to receive. You have to be in a feminine receptive energy. So these are the things you have to be aware of. If there's information that you want to receive, perhaps you're pushing too hard and you need to get more in the receptive mode and allow things to come to you and allow them to come to you in good time. So you can go through the meditative state to try and download or connect with your guides to receive information, to make certain connections. But sometimes you won't connect. Sometimes you won't hear it. Sometimes you won't receive it. And you got to check yourself too, because there's been times where I'm in a meditative state and I can hear myself talk and I'm getting off track and I'm doing all of the talking. I'm not receiving. I'm not in receptive mode. And so then I just become aware of it and say, okay, I'm in receptive mode now. And I stop talking and I listen. Then things start to flow. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. This isn't really a video on meditation or past life regression or any of that, but it is part of the conversation, so that's why I talked about it. But I don't want to say things that are redundant or repetitive or too simplistic for people, but at the same time, I don't want people to feel that they don't understand what I'm talking about if they're new to this information. If there's something that you don't understand, then please ask, because then I know to address it. I don't want to assume that you know what I'm talking about, but I feel like the majority of you know what I'm talking about. So, but then I will find out later, someone will actually say something and ask, what do you mean by this? And I realize that not everybody's there yet. Not everybody knows what that means or knows what that is. Like with anything, if there's something you don't understand, obviously you've got the internet at your fingertips. It's got all the information there, so you can find most of the answers in a heartbeat. But sometimes if it's information that comes from within, it's not going to be online. So here's the other thing that I find it a little bit, I guess, a bit of a letdown. Yeah, I guess that's more like it. A little bit of a letdown. So lately I'll have a certain experience and I will want to search YouTube or the internet to see if other people have had similar experiences, just to not feel so alone, or to reinforce the message. Or I guess it's a human need for connection and reinforcement in a sort of camaraderie type of way. And I feel a little let down because other people are talking about the experiences that I'm having. So I'm trying to make videos that talk about my experiences so that I can put it out there for people who are having similar experiences, who are looking for other people who share their similar experiences. And for the most part, when I do find something that it comes close, I'm a little disappointed because it's usually tainted with mainstream pollution and isn't quite accurate, or they make fun of it. It's not genuine. It's hollow, it's superficial. Like past lives, I've come across people who talk about past lives, but anything on mainstream media is garbage. Those people are lying about their past lives. I mean, the number of times I've come across people saying that they are reincarnated from dying on the Titanic, or they were reincarnated from dying in 9/11. I know it's bullshit. It's really disappointing to come across this crap when I want to hear authentic stories. There's more new channels coming out with this sort of content lately, with this great awakening we're going through. So hopefully there's more authentic stories, but that's just an example. Very few people talk about their experiences with the television. Very few people talk about their experiences with synchromysticism. It's a little bit isolating. So like there's times when I want to look it up and I don't even know what to call it. I want to look up something that's happened to me and I don't know what to call it because there's no name for it, and I want to know if this is like what kind of experience is it? Like what is it? What did I just experience? And again, there's no people talking about this sort of stuff. One such problem is because most people don't talk about this sort of thing in the mainstream, that is, a lot of people are not aware that this is even a thing, and so they will dismiss it as something, an anomaly. Oh, I was seeing things, or they'll just totally forget about it. Or because they don't understand how this world works and they don't understand how the mind works, they conflate certain things that their mind has played tricks on them with something supernatural or paranormal, or what most people categorize as a matrix glitch. There's a lot of matrix glitch stories out right now, which is kind of reassuring to listen to. A lot of those stories are easily explained and a lot of them are lies. So that again is really disheartening because I want to hear authentic stories. I want to hear what people are experiencing. And you can tell that some of them are flat out lies by some of the clues that are in the stories. They claim they traveled back in time, but then they use modern money. They're missing some details. 9 times out of 10, those stories are essentially stories of things that disappear and reappear. Well, that can be easily explained that you just didn't see it before because you're telling your mind that you can't find it, so your mind won't let you see it. And then when you tell your mind that you can find it, it will show up again. So a lot of people will misinterpret things as matrix glitches, that is just the mind playing tricks on them because they don't know how the mind works. I think most people in this world look at the world as what is outside of my face is physical and there, and my mind has absolutely zero connection with the physical. I am a body in this world and everything is tangible and physical and real, and I just walk around and do stuff, and the things I think have no effect on my body or my reality. There's a complete disconnection between the mind and the body and the physical external reality. Trying to explain to these people that your mind creates this reality is a huge leap, and that your mind sends messages to your body, so your mind has the power to tell you that you don't feel pain, that you don't see certain things. It will filter things out of your experience that you are not prepared to receive. Your beliefs shape your perception. That there are people in this world who don't see what's there. They see what they interpret is there. There's many times where you talk to somebody and you'll ask them, okay, what do you see in this picture? And it could be a picture of a sunrise and a man standing on top of a mountain. And they'll say, heartbreak. Okay, but that's not what I asked you. What do you literally see? And they're overthinking it, or they'll tell you what they think you want to hear. They think it's a trick question. No, I'm asking you literally, what do you see? It's not a trick question. Okay, there's mountains and there's a sun that's setting and there's clouds and they're stormy looking and there's a river in the middle of the valley. There's a man standing on the mountain. I want to hear, what do you literally see? But you will also have two people experience the same thing, but their interpretation of what happened would be completely different. But if you press them and you ask them the right questions, you could probably get the true story. And some people are able to see what is, and other people are not. Other people distort, and they don't even realize that they're distorting or that distortion is a thing. So the idea for a lot of people, there's a massive disconnection with the mind and what the mind is capable of, which is, of course, by design, because when you understand how the mind works and the power of the mind, it changes everything. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for listening. Hope you're having a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.